Do you ever notice how some people never lose their cool, never raise their voice, never chase, never beg? Meanwhile, you're over here, heart racing, palms sweating, overthinking a text they probably read and ignored. What's the difference? It's not confidence. It's not luck. It's a system, a set of rules they understand and you've been blind to. Here's the truth nobody tells you. Every interaction is a negotiation for control, not the big fights, the casual ones, group chats, family dinners. That text you spent 20 minutes overthinking. Someone says something, you feel a surge, you respond, they smile, game over. You just showed them exactly where your buttons are. Machiavelli watched this destroy brilliant men, not by swords, by their own inability to control how they felt. The person who controls their emotions controls the outcome every single time. You cannot win a game you don't know you're playing. So let's learn the rules. Trick 1, see the trap before it springs. Most people try to protect themselves without understanding how emotional influence actually works. That's like dodging bullets you can't see. Here's the mechanics. Emotional influence always targets your identity, not your logic, your sense of who you are, what you're worth. Threaten that, even slightly, and your brain goes into emergency mode. And in emergency mode, you don't think, you react. Think about the last time someone really got under your skin. It touched something deeper. Maybe they implied you weren't as capable as you believe. Maybe they made you feel disrespected. That's always the target. Skilled manipulators find that target and press. They give you just enough attention to make you want more, then pull it away. They frame situations so you feel like you're the problem. Your brain takes the bait every single time. The solution? Observe before you react. When you feel that emotional surge, pause 1 second. Ask yourself, what just happened? What were they actually doing? That pause changes everything. You stop being a player in their game and start being an observer. Observers don't get influenced, only players do. Trick 2, stop performing your pain. Most people treat their emotions like public property. Someone pushes a button, they react immediately, completely automatic, completely visible. Here's what they don't realize. Your emotional reactions are information. Every time you visibly react, you're handing them a map of your vulnerabilities. You're showing them which buttons to press next time. Machiavelli wrote about rulers who wore their emotions openly and how they became easy targets. The solution? Stop performing for an audience that doesn't deserve the show. Feel everything, the anger, the hurt, all of it is valid. But feeling it and showing it are two different things. When someone tries to provoke you and sees nothing, no forced calm, no suppressed rage, just genuine indifference, they lose instantly. Because that nothing communicates something powerful. You don't matter enough to move me. Practice this. Create a gap between what you feel and what you show. Your emotional world becomes private property, and private property has a gate. That gate has a lock. You hold the only key. Trick 3, kill their reward system. Here's a law that never fails. People do what works. If crying gets them attention, they'll cry. If withdrawing makes you chase, they'll withdraw. If attacking your decisions makes you defend yourself for hours, they'll keep attacking. Every single one of those responses is a reward, and rewarded behavior gets repeated. Think about this. When someone guilt trips you and you give in, what have you taught them? Guilt works. You're not defending yourself. You're training them. The only way to end the influence is to end the reward system. Remove the reward from every influence attempt. When someone guilt trips you, you don't argue, you don't justify. You simply make a decision based on what you want. When someone withdraws to make you chase, you don't chase. You let the distance stand. When someone questions you to trigger your insecurity, you don't get defensive. You respond with calm or nothing at all. Every time you remove the reward, you're retraining the dynamic. You're communicating. These tactics don't work on me anymore, and people stop using approaches that consistently fail. Trick 4, make your silence a weapon. Most people think emotional neutrality is defensive, a way to protect yourself. Wrong. Neutrality used strategically is an active weapon. It's a mirror that reflects people's own behavior back at them. Here's how it works. When someone approaches you with charged emotional energy, anger, pressure, drama, they're carrying an expectation. They expect you to match their energy. Get defensive, get emotional, scramble to fix things. They need a reaction to complete their loop. When you respond with complete neutrality, calm, steady, genuinely unaffected, you break that loop. Their energy has nowhere to go, so it turns back toward them. The person raising their voice at someone who remains calm suddenly hears how loud they're being. The person using pressure tactics on someone who stays grounded suddenly feels how transparent their strategy is. You didn't attack. You didn't defend. You simply held your ground. The key: this has to be genuine. People can sense forced calm. Real neutrality comes from understanding that someone else's emotional state is not your emergency and not your responsibility. Their drama belongs to them. You can witness it without absorbing it. When you operate from that level, you become a mirror. And most people, when they finally see themselves clearly, don't like what they see. Trick 5. Control the timing, control the frame. Machiavelli was obsessed with timing. The same action at different moments produces completely opposite outcomes. Too early signals desperation, too late signals weakness. Most people react the moment they feel something because waiting feels unbearable. Someone sends a provocative message, they respond in seconds. Someone makes them feel insecure, they seek reassurance immediately. All of that immediacy is information. It tells the other person exactly how much power they have. The person who waits, who takes time, who responds on their own schedule, they've demonstrated that there's no crisis here. Before you respond to anything carrying emotional weight, create space, 5 minutes, an hour. Use that space not to craft a clever response, but to return to yourself, to let the initial charge settle, to ask honestly, what do I actually want to communicate here? The response that emerges from that space is always cleaner, always more powerful. And people learn that they can't rush you. The provocation lands, and then they wait, because they've learned. You respond when you're ready. Timing is a form of authority. The person who controls when they respond controls everything. Trick 6. Stop living in performance. Here's something most people won't admit. A huge portion of your emotional vulnerability comes from being in the wrong rooms. Relationships that require you to constantly perform a version of yourself that isn't actually you. You perform confidence when you're uncertain. You perform happiness when you're struggling. You perform being fine when you're clearly not. The people you're performing for hold something you desperately want: their approval, their good opinion. As long as you need that, they have power over you. Machiavelli saw this constantly. Advisors who shaped themselves entirely around what the ruler wanted were never truly secure. Their entire standing depended on maintaining the performance. Real security is built in relationships where performance isn't required, where you can show up uncertain, imperfect, and that's not just accepted, but welcomed. Those relationships exist, but building them requires something most people avoid. You have to stop performing before it feels safe. Let people see something real. The ones who stay, those are the people in whose presence you are genuinely safe. Everyone else, they don't deserve the show. Trick 7. Become the author of your own story. Every manipulation tactic targets the same thing: your identity, who you think you are, what you believe you deserve. The reason those attacks land is because you didn't write your own identity. You inherited it from parents, from peers, from every relationship that shaped you. And because you never examined it, you're vulnerable to anyone with a competing narrative. Machiavelli's deepest insight: the person who truly knows themselves cannot be made into something they're not. Your emotional armor isn't built by suppressing feelings. It's built by answering 3 questions with absolute clarity. 1. What do I actually value, not what you're supposed to value? What do you actually stand for when it costs you something? 2. What am I worth as a person? Not based on your job, your income, your relationships, just baseline human worth. If you can't answer that with certainty, anyone who offers to define your worth for you can control you. 3. What do I actually need? Not what your insecure parts crave. The validation, the reassurance, what you genuinely need to live with integrity. When you know that, you stop outsourcing your emotional stability. Answer those questions, really answer them, and you become emotionally untouchable. Not because you've built walls, but because there's nothing left to attack. The story is yours. Write it yourself. The choice is yours. You came into this knowing something was wrong, that you kept reacting when you wanted to stay calm, that you kept getting pulled into situations that drained you, that the same patterns kept repeating with different people. Now you know why, and you know what to do. Observe before you react. Stop performing your pain. Remove every reward from manipulation. Use neutrality as a mirror. Control the timing. Stop performing for people who don't deserve it. Become the author of your own story. Do this consistently, and the people who used to drain you will find someone else. The tactics that used to work will stop working. Machiavelli spent his life studying what separates the people who lead from the people who get led. His conclusion never changed. The ones who mastered themselves could never be mastered by anyone else. That mastery is available to you right now. You are uninfluenceable. Act like it. And don't forget, every time I get close to the truth, they shadow ban the video. Kill the reach, bury it before it spreads. They don't want you emotionally unshakable. They don't want you immune to manipulation. A controlled audience is a profitable audience. So if you want the real lessons, the ones they keep suppressing, you can find me on Patreon. Join the underground before they take this down too. You can find the link in the description. I'll see you soon.